This has led to the generalization and stereotyping of the entire Muslim religion, which, by the way, equates to 1.5 billion people and around 22% of the entire world's population. This brings me to our second or worldly shaping text, Disgraced, by playwright, director, Muslim, and American Ayad Akhtar. The post-9/11 themes and ideas of Islamophobia and racial prejudice explored in Disgraced are a testament to Akhtar's life as a Muslim. Akhtar shows the hardships and lengths that Muslims must go to in order to be accepted into post-9/11 American society. A portrayal of himself and his life experiences is seen as the protagonist Amir, a successful lawyer of Pakistani heritage who finds his pride in his Muslim background but no longer practices it. The other, found in Disgrace, written 4 centuries after Othello, is suspiciously similar, alluding to the minimal progression towards the improvement of the issue of racial prejudice. However, Amir isn't discriminated against because he was black. That problem was partially amended half a century earlier. Thanks, Martin. Amir is the product of a newish racial prejudice aimed at Muslims. In scene 2 of Disgraced, Amir talks with Emily, his young white wife, about an interrogation of heritage his boss Stephen undertakes. After establishing that the cities his parents were born in were both in India at the time, before the country was split in two, he was questioned about his origins with questions like, so it wasn't India anymore, was it? It was Pakistan. This is a classic example of the racial prejudice and othering that Amir tried so hard to avoid, because any association with his Muslim heritage would raise unnecessary and possibly detrimental suspicions. Later in the play, Jory reveals that the reason she was promoted over Amir was that Mort, his boss, says something about you being duplicitous. This further reinforces the notion of racial prejudices, as it was because of suspicions related to Amir's Muslim heritage that someone else was promoted over him. This small statement also features aspects of irony that relate heavily to Othello and its context. Let me explain the irony. In the Elizabethan era, the other included gender stereotypes about women being inferior, and black people, Jory is black, were often slaves and othered just as Othello was, yet she was still promoted over Amir. This irony is a testament to the strength of issues surrounding Muslims and terrorism in modern day society. Despite this, the common issue of racial prejudice is unchanged in 4 centuries. Therefore, prejudice is still present, but on different scales and in different ways. To wrap everything up, these 2 epic narratives, Disgraced and Othello, have shaped our world through their portrayal of the other, that explores and arises universally relevant issues of racial and religious prejudice. It's shameful how the same fundamental issues can exist almost unchanged 4 centuries later. It's almost as if discrimination and othering is a part of human nature and has not progressed with the rest of the world.